Welcome to the Never Black and White podcast. And this is that place where we kind of like explore the gray areas, because it's in those gray areas where you find the most beautiful of expressions of spirituality, you know, the places that are don't make the mainstream cut in most of the times. And we're all about spirituality here. And today, as one of my guests, we've had a few this season. I have Sandy. Sandy, welcome to the Never Black and White podcast.
Thank you so much. I am so honored.
How are you doing today?
I am doing great.
You wrote a book. I think this is the best place to start this conversation. Maybe I shouldn't do it that way. Before we even get to the book, Sandy, tell our audience, introduce yourself, you know, your interest, especially because we're all about spirituality here. How did you get to this place of your own spiritual expression, how you see spirituality? Can you do the impossible and just summarize that journey of a lifetime in 2 minutes?
Ooh, only 2? I could be here all day.
Yeah.
I think what it was is that it's growth.
Yeah.
Okay. I've always had spirituality in my life, but it comes and goes, right? I always knew it was always here in my heart, but life takes you on different journeys.
Yeah.
And it's been a very interesting one for me. And I've always wanted to inspire other people. And when the when the pandemic hit, that's when it really hit home for me, because I've seen it so hard on people, especially children. And I realized at probably about 7-8 years ago, I realized that everything that I have done in my journey has led me to where I am today. And being grateful was the big part of it.
Yeah.
Because when you live in gratitude is when you open up and your energy shifts. And then it allows the different type of, like, the positive energy comes in.
Yeah.
And when you got a really nice gratitude heart, then your heart will sing.
Yeah.
Where it's supposed to be.
I mean, gratitude, that's a big thing, because we live in a kind of like a world that has taught us we don't often stop to be thankful. We're taught to be always wanting more and more and more and more. And then we lose sight of the things that we already have. And that spirit of gratitude seems to be like, you know, I've never had a politician who would come up and say, I would like to begin by saying thank you for this and thank you for that. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. No, it's always, hey, I'm going to do this for you and do that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the way the world's gone. And it's really hard on people because they're allowing the outside world to steal their joy.
Yeah.
And their gratitude and steal their stories.
Steal their stories.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. You know, we're all looking for miracles. Everybody's running around, I want to see a miracle. I want to see a miracle. When all they have to do is listen to that little voice inside, stand in front of a mirror. There's your miracle.
Oh, look in front of a mirror.
Yeah, there's your miracle.
And there is your miracle. My goodness, someone should put that on a t-shirt. We might as well do that, Mr. Director.
Yeah.
Speaking of mirrors, you wrote a children's book.
Yes.
I Believe in You.
Yeah.
We were talking before the cameras were rolling, and I was telling you I read this book to my daughters, and they loved it. They loved it. They seemed to be able to relate. We're going to put a link to your book. I encourage people to just get the book. And there's something here that you wrote that I thought was very interesting. In the dedication, you said, to all my readers of any age.
Yeah.
So you're writing a children's book, but you know very well that your readers will come from a broader range of ages.
Yes.
What made you write this book?
You know, I'm so excited that you brought this up
Yeah.
because when I wrote this book, I was 58. I'm 60 now. And
Oops, sorry, that's the part where I was supposed to say, oh my goodness, you look 20.
thank you. Now, I also have to give my granddaughter credit.
Yeah.
Because she helped me with this. So what it was is I always wanted to write a children's book. I always wanted to inspire kids. And I think it's because it was that inner child in me that needed that healing, that needed that forgiveness for myself and to say, it's okay. So when the world was going crazy, I thought these kids need something. They need like something to boost them, something because everybody, they couldn't just go to the adults for help because the adults were in the same state. Nobody knew what was happening, right? So many of the kids were being lost because they wanted to ask questions. Who do you go to? You go to your parents, or you go to an older person. They couldn't help you, then what, right? So I always wanted to write a children's book. So I always prayed about it.
Yeah.
And said, just give me a sign. What should I write? What should the title be? One day I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I thought, I know what to start writing about. And my husband was sitting across from me. And I always handwrite everything. I have journals. I have, you name it. I have my sticky notes all over my office, all over my computer. And so I said, I'm going to write my book. He said, okay. So I started writing. And within a half an hour, I stopped. And my hand was so cramped because the words were coming so fast. It was the messages for me to get across. And they were coming so fast that I had to keep on shaking my hand.
Yeah, I do that.
And I wasn't talking. And he tried to interrupt and go, whoa, whoa. And then I was finished. And he went, oh, you done? And I went, done. And he goes, oh, you need a break? And I said, no, I'm done. And he goes, wow. He goes, so what's it about? And I said, I'll read it to you. And after I read it to him, I realized that the story was about me because it was about a little girl. And I felt healed after that. It was such a nurture and releasing that happened in that half an hour. It was incredible. I nurtured what serves me now at this age. And I released a lot of that built up stuff that it wasn't really anybody else's fault. It's just growing up as a child, right?
Yeah.
We take things inward instead of going, it's okay, right? Kids are kids, but we take things so personally. So when and I'm not a crier, but I sat there and I cried and cried after. And my husband started crying because he knew what was happening.
Wow.
And he goes, I know why you're crying. And I said, why? And he goes, that story is about you. And I said, it is just like somebody has lifted a weight off my shoulders. And now I can share this with other people. Because I said, there has to be other people that have gone through the same thing and still go through the same thing. Not wanting to look at the reflection in the mirror because they didn't love what they seen. And it took me 58, 57 years to be able to look in the mirror and go, I love you.
Wow, Sandy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is your experience from when you were a little girl.
Yes.
So as I'm reading, that's the story there, and this little girl in the story, I don't want to give it all away, but the little girl in the story gets to a point in life where she can't even look at the mirror. And you're saying this is your story.
Yeah.
You get to tell me about what kind of circumstances, societal and otherwise, took you to that place. Because I imagine that there is someone watching this right now and thinking, okay, that sounds like something I can relate to. what kind of societal stuff took you to that place where you just couldn't even look at the mirror and love the miracle that was being reflected there?
I think some of it was in school.
Yeah.
Like I tried to go on some sports, like to join sports. I couldn't. And then I realized now that not everybody's out to do sports.
Yeah.
But back then the kids would laugh. And I know it happens to a lot of kids. It didn't happen. It's not just my story, right? But instead of just going, it's okay, it's just not meant for me.
Yeah.
We internalize it, right? Because it's the stories that we make up. And there's a saying that I always tell myself, it's not who I think I am. It's not who you think I am. It's who I think you think I am.
Oh.
So that is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I relate that a lot to a lot of the Zooms that I join and my podcasts with my husband. And that kind of is what's in here is you might look at me and go, whoa, like she's confident and but inside I'm going, oh, this is what he's thinking about me.
Yeah.
Right. It's because we're taught like our beliefs from teachers or parents, like other friends, like that's where our beliefs come from. And so we internalize those beliefs and believe it ourselves. This is who we are.
Yeah. So we believe what we think other people believe us to be.
Yes.
And then we make that our reality and it ruins us.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Do you know, I remember you're saying that and I think about the time, when I was in school and when it's time for sports, you're not good in everything. There were those few kids who were almost good at everything. But it felt so bad, when we're picking teams for this particular game and you are one of the kids who's picked last because, you have to go somewhere and it was like, okay, I'll take you into my team. And for those sports, like basketball is one of them for me.
Yeah.
I was always that one kid that were like, at least he's tall. Okay, you are in my team. And from that experience onwards, I've told myself, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
If I don't even watch basketball, because that thing was ingrained in me, So from childhood, we pick up these scars.
Yes.
And we just keep going with them.
Yeah. And even our grades, right? Like in school.
Yeah.
Like if your friends will say, well, what did you get for this? Well, I got a D. I barely passed. Well, I got an A. Well, you're stupid. And they don't mean to do it. It's not vicious. It's just, that's what kids do. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
And so you think, oh, I'm stupid. Right? And then you hear it from other people. My biggest belief that I had to get over my hurdle was that I had one person in my family that had said to me, if you had lost 50 pounds, you'd be so pretty.
Oh.
And they didn't mean it. I know they didn't mean it viciously, but it's just like, and then to add to that, they said, I showed your picture to a whole bunch of friends and they said the same thing. And I thought, wow, so I'm not pretty unless I'm thin. That's how I thought.
Yeah.
Right. So then we start making that story up. And every time we go around to an event or something, well, I didn't want to be in pictures. I didn't want to be in family pictures.
Yeah.
And my family used to get very irritated with me. When my dad passed away a few months ago, it was a real change for me because I had to let that go.
Yeah.
Because I did part of my dad's eulogy from us kids. And I actually stood up in front of 200 people and I talked about him. But on the way up there, I had to ask for guidance. And I just said, okay, let this be about my dad, not about me.
Yeah.
And quit telling myself the story about that I am not good enough.
Yeah.
And that's get that belief out of my head, because this is not about me. And when I did it, after I did it, I thought, wow, you carry those things, and I miss so much of my life. I miss so many pictures with my kids and grandkids. And my grandkids would, one day my granddaughter said, Nana, how come you're not in any pictures? And I said, I just don't like pictures. And actually it was Taylor, the one that kind of helped me with this book after. And she says, is this book about you? And I said, yeah. She goes, Nana, she goes, you're so pretty. She says, you're so smart. She goes, well, I don't know why you would think that about yourself. And it really hit home, because I started thinking, what am I showing my grandkids? What am I showing my daughters? Right? Because of my belief that I've held all this time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even shower with the light on until I was about 58 years old. And people went, how do you shower without it? Well, I would have, I always waited and did it when there was light.
Yeah.
But I always made sure that when I toweled off, I would not look in the mirror. I'd look in the mirror for a few minutes to do my makeup and my hair, and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. If my hair was sticking up for the rest of the day, I would never know. My makeup was smeared, I would never know.
Yeah.
I never looked at it myself again.
That just shows how much power words have.
Yes.
The words are so powerful. Like, so much could have been different had someone said something different,
Yes.
And Sandy, is there a way, and I know your book is also a part of, the healing of this societal problem, because it's really a societal, ultimately spiritual problem, because we're not seeing the value in each other. We're not celebrating the value in each other. But how do we change this trajectory? Like, I got kids at home there. How do I make sure that they grow up in an environment where they will not carry these wounds? Can I even avoid that? Is that even a possibility?
I don't think you can ever stop it from happening to them. But the biggest thing is be there and make sure you always affirm how much you believe in them.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, you believe in them and you will be there for them.
Yeah.
Because we all make mistakes. And you always try, like in this story, I wrote about a little boy that always says, well, what if? Like, what if this happens to his mother? What if that happens? And the mother confirms and says, but what if it doesn't?
Yeah. What's his name? Danny?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at that name, I'm like,
I know that name.
I know that name.
But it took in the story, it took that little girl to go and explore on how to heal this.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was just to help people when they're listening to this or watching this, is do some journaling. Write a love letter to yourself. Stand in front of the mirror and look from here down and say what you love about that person.
Yeah.
Right? And realize that everybody has a story. Now, our story might not resonate with everybody. This story might not resonate with everybody. But there's always one person out there that it'll change their life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, someone who will hear it and say, wow, that's actually my story also. And it will bring some sort of, kind of like make sense of the chaos that they are going through. And I'm a firm believer in the sharing of stories, because life is difficult to a certain extent. We carry so many traumas. The other day, we're chatting at home and I was saying, I could count, on both hands from the time I was born, how many close friends and family members that I have lost, and I people that are so close, I can remember their mannerisms and so on and so on. And we carry these scars as we go through life, just keep carrying them. And we need to get to a place where we find some sort of healing, some sort of way to process. And when you share your story, you somehow make it possible for someone else to begin to process.
Exactly.
Say, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I can relate to this. Oh, I can relate to that. I can relate to this.
Yeah.
I mean, you say for some 50 some years, this has been your reality.
Yeah. And this is why a lot of women and men, but this is why a lot of women can relate. Yeah. And when I've had women contact me and say, I read this story to my son or daughter, and I cried the whole way through. And they're looking at me strange. It's because I was that little girl, or even I was that little boy who always said, what if? Yeah. What if? Right? But something that we have to realize is that the reason our stories are so important is because we could be talking to 100 people in a room on any subject. 99 people can say, that story doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
But that one person in the back, that's their survival guide.
Survival guide.
Change that person's life and give them ideas, give them a chance. And when you say, I believe in you, I love you. I did an interview last week.
Yeah.
And this girl got on and she was crying and she says, I always heard I love you. And I never realized how I love you is internal, but it's I love you. But to say to them, I believe in you, it encourages them.
Yeah.
I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. I believe in, we got to remember that it's our perception, right? And we cannot be like everybody else. And we should not hope that everybody's like us.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to be like some people.
No. And I think this world is good with only one of me.
I think this world is good with me.
Yeah.
Ask my husband.
Yeah. But when someone says, I believe in you, I feel like that statement affirms who you are first. It's not me throwing my identity or at least what I think you ought to be at you. You're saying, it's like someone say, I see you.
Yes.
I believe in you is saying, hey, I see you. This is who you are. And I'm in your corner.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is huge.
And I love how you put that because you're taking it off of me, you're putting it to them.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's so powerful because, like you said earlier, it's your words that are powerful. It's like when we get up in the morning, whatever you say, I am, or I want, it's you're creating that day.
Yes.
Right? So if you get up and you stub your toe, that's the day you're going to create if you get mad.
Yeah.
And you might forget about it until you stub it again.
I mean, that is a huge spiritual lesson. I think we should really drill down on it. As much as maybe in a Christian narrative, we believe that God is the creator.
Yeah.
And he has created human beings in his image. So to some extent, we have some creative power in us. Yeah. And when it comes to our day, like, I create that day.
Yes.
I mean, he gives me the gift of the day, but I create what that day is going to look like, which is why I love this saying that today is a good day to have a good day.
Yes, that's good.
Because I am actively creating that. Yeah. If someone cuts me off on the road driving and, I say all sorts of words that include body parts and family members, I am creating that day. That is active creation.
Yes.
So I can wake up in the morning and actively and be active in creating a good day.
Yeah.
And that changes my attitude.
Yes. And start with gratitude.
Start with gratitude.
Start creating with gratitude. Because as soon as you start, you cannot have fear and gratitude together. So
Yeah.
as soon as you wake up right away, if you're in gratitude, it changes your energy level. And that will just let the flow go.
Yeah. Sandy, how do you define energy?
I define energy as the spirit of God.
Yeah.
And when I feel the shift, because when I am not in the flow in the spirit with God, that it's easy for me to start living in fear,
Yes.
to get angry, or to start judging,
Yeah.
or to change that story.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You could say
Start
that again.
making that story up.
Yeah.
Where if I'm living in the spirit, it makes me more aware of what am I doing? Who am I serving? And what am I serving myself? Right? And like, is this serving me to be a better person, to show up as my best self?
Yeah.
Because when I show up as my best self and I have that flow of energy going out, because you always say, whatever comes out goes back, right? So be very careful.
Yeah.
And I think living
that is an
gratitude-
ancient truth that I think people forget, Whatever comes out, it will come back in.
Yeah.
So if you are projecting negativity, guess what comes back at you?
Yeah.
It's just more negativity, And I like how you define energy, and it's a very spiritual definition that is so inclusive. Because I've met people who are not comfortable with the idea of God or a God, but they are comfortable with the idea of energy, a supernatural force, a power, the universe.
The
universe,
source.
the source. Yeah. We're becoming more Star Trek-y, but
Yeah.
and this source of power, if we start our day by expressing gratefulness to, there's something that changes in us. Yeah. Because then I like how you said it, when you are showing up into the world, you are bringing the best version of you.
Yeah.
I think there are too many people who are showing up and they are not bringing their best version.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of it is happening in our schools where our children need to go and get an education.
Yeah.
And that individual is not bringing the best version of themselves, to that classroom. It's happening in our medical systems, political systems, religious systems.
Yes.
And it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Your book again really kind of like Danny's mom in your book, like she is bringing the best version of herself to that situation when you're saying, what if, and she says, but what if it doesn't?
Exactly.
That's just the best version of yourself. So someone could read your book and also really get encouragement on how to show up and bring the best version of yourself there.
Yeah.
And it all begins with gratitude.
Yeah. Always be grateful.
Always,
even in bad times. Right?
That's a hard one to do.
It is. But you in the book, there's for instance, like Danny moved, his family and him moved. And then he is sad after because he misses Santa, because him and Santa are best friends.
Yeah.
And his mom says, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "But I miss Santa and I'm lonely." And the way that I talk about it as though I'm not the author, but the way that it was written.
Yeah.
But the way that it comes across is when the mother shows love, shows I believe in you.
Yeah.
And and really understands what he is feeling, connects with her son, and says, but what if you told everybody about Sana? Then you wouldn't miss her as much because she's here.
She's in here now.
That's right. The memories are here. And I thought, it's like when we lose a loved one, right?
Yeah.
We go through that same stage. Like, what do we do? I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
And I just have to remember that the memories are here, right? And we can still share them. We still get to share and keep their memories alive from the funny stories, the funny, like the life lessons, right?
Yeah.
No matter who they are.
Yeah.
But life lessons.
That's a huge spiritual lesson right there. It's so huge. It is. I sometimes feel like maybe this is just me and I'm the weird one. That the society we live in has kind of like created this alternative reality that's really not working for us. Where there's so much that we want to show up for that's really not that important. Like I have made it my, I guess, practice that if I'm going to watch the news, it's going to be maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Because the world they are showing me is not the world the Muslims are doing this and this. I got Muslim friends.
Yeah.
That's the world I live in.
Yeah.
The other world. And then people will say, oh no, I'm just being ignorant. I don't know. I just feel like there's this, I can choose which reality I want to live in.
Yeah.
And I choose to be in this one where gratefulness and the respect of our shared humanity is like the theme of the day.
Yeah.
And this other universe, yes, bad things are happening, but no, I don't want to be there. And so when it comes to even situations where death happens, like you, I know that they might not be here with me now, but the memory of them is a part of me that I will treasure until the day I die.
Yeah.
And no one can take that away from me.
Yeah.
That is
a blessing. Oh, it is a blessing that
a
we have that
blessing.
gift.
Yeah.
Because we all have gifts. I feel that we all wake up every morning, and it's like every morning I get to wake up, live in gratitude first, and then pick up that gift at the end of my bed and open it and say, what do you have for me today? And mind you, we never had Christmas growing up, and that's another story. But that's how I feel. And that's how I want to wake up in the mornings. Right?
Yeah.
But throughout the day, like I still struggle with this, right? And I still go to my closet and go, I wish I could fit some of these, and
Yeah.
But then I have to sit back and I have to go, live in gratitude, be grateful.
Yeah.
Because this is not about the beliefs that I was installed in here. This is my new beliefs of myself.
Yeah. It's a new operating system.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, erase, get rid of that old data, allow new data to come in.
Yes. This is spirituality at its essence. At least I believe that, this new system of being that I can take in. I've been practicing this, what you're saying, and I can testify how much it has changed my life. There were things about myself that I also didn't like, and it was primarily because of experiences growing up. People say, "Oh, you're too skinny. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're this," and it becomes an identity.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
it becomes an identity I held on to.
Yeah.
But now, you wake up and I stand in front of the mirror as I brush my teeth. The first thing I do in the morning. Some people don't, but that's just me. I wake up around 4:35 a.m. and I am brushing my teeth, and I'm doing exactly that.
Yeah.
Say, I love this about you. I love this about you. My goodness, you have a beautiful smile.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful body.
Yeah.
I love this about you. And that gratefulness has made me bring the best version of myself when my kids wake up.
Exactly. Exactly.
And when I interact with people at work, like I work in the field of spirituality, and I interact with a lot of brokenness.
Yeah.
And where I have to show up, then I can bring the best version of myself. In the story, Sandy, something else that I believe, I don't know if you believe this also, in the story, Danny and Sana
Yeah.
meet at the beach, in some way that they never thought it will happen. They are now in college, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are with friends, not knowing that these friends will somehow connect them again. Sandy, do you think the universe does that? There's a power that brings the good things to us?
Definitely. Definitely. I feel that every person's path is to cross paths with somebody else. It's all about our journey.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel so really, really strongly about not limiting other people, because we don't know what their journey is. And for us to say, well, like, let's drive down the road, and then that little voice says, we should pull over here. And then the driver says, no, that's my story. We're in a hurry. We got to get there.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So
I can relate to that. Yeah.
But you know what? That little voice is trying to tell us something. There's somebody along our path that we're supposed to meet. It's either for us to impact their life or for their life to impact us. And that happens so much to people. You gotta like enjoy and like grab the bumps, the detours, right?
Everything. The whole package.
I used to be a driver examiner and a driver instructor, so that's why I always say that. But just don't miss the journey. Don't try and rush to the end, because you're going to miss out on the blessings along the way. You're going to miss out on the journey and the people you're going to meet. And you could be changing somebody else's life, and their story can change yours.
Yeah.
And when, like, our identity is connected to whatever we put our heart to. So that's
big.
That's so important. And that's why I always want my heart to sing. I want it to sing joy.
Yeah.
I want it to sing love, and letting people know that I believe in them, whether they're 90, 50, 66.
Yeah.
I think it's so important because people, especially nowadays, doesn't feel that connection.
Yeah.
And everybody's so worried about what's the next day going to hold that we forget to enjoy the blessings of that day.
Yeah.
And we forget to encourage other people. That is why in the book I also wrote about the kids always getting together and sharing what they want to do when they're older.
Yeah.
And is it okay if I just read one little piece out of it?
Go for it. Yeah.
This little piece here, I gotta get my glasses on. This little piece here,
Yeah.
I think I love the whole story, the whole message. But this here, every time I read it, it chokes me up. And this is here, so Sana, and this is after they have met.
Yeah.
Sana and Danny started going to boys and girls clubs. They would read to them and play imagination games with the boys and girls to pretend what they wanted to do when they grew up. The children would say a doctor, because they would help sick people feel better. A teacher, so they could teach them how to read stories. A friend, so they could be there through the happy times and the sad. A cook, so they could cook meals in soup kitchens, a cleaner to keep the schools, stores, hospitals clean, a truck driver to bring food and clothing to the stores, and drive a garbage truck to keep the streets clean. But the most important person they wanted to be was themselves.
I loved that part.
Every time I read that, it just chokes me up,
Yeah.
because that is what's missing. And I hear this in my grandkids, especially Taylor, the youngest one. She'll come home and go, I just want to be myself. And I'm so proud to be myself. So they wanted to not judge themselves and what other people said about them. They wanted to laugh and they cry. They wanted to act silly, even when they're older. And when we love ourselves, we can share that love and that love and stories to others, so that they stand in front of the mirror with joy, gratitude, faith. Always treat others how you want to be treated. I just love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, like to, just really ensure other people that you believe in them. And that's what I try to do in this book, is really encourage these kids to encourage other kids.
Yeah.
Encourage older people, because just because you're a senior, which I'm getting really close, I am partly there.
Yeah.
But it's to ensure them that no matter how old, you still believe in them.
You still believe
And
in
everybody
them.
still has a story.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to stop and pause and listen to those stories. Right?
Yeah. A lot of our audience, there's a team behind this setup here. And you today have the privilege to look at Mr. Director. He's always a phantom figure in our podcast here. But just to emphasize your point there, Mr. Director walked into a place where I was doing a presentation, and that's how we connected. Our paths crossed on that day, as if it was. I mean, it was not planned. But our paths crossed on that day. And we've been friends ever since. We work together. We do all of this, we've journeyed together through some things in his life and in my life and so on. So yes, like the people we meet, sometimes it might seem like it's insignificant, but he has had an impact in my life as much as I hope I've had an impact in his life. And the people that he connected with in his life, now I am starting to connect with them. And there's this beautifully neat web of friendship and humanity and tolerance and all of this. And it is so, so true. What a world it will be when we value those moments.
Yeah.
When we don't, like I'm one of those drivers, I will confess, who feel like, okay, I'm in the car, put the pedal to the ground, and get there. And I miss out on that journey there.
Yeah.
In life, that journey has connected me with you. It has
Yes.
connected me with my director here. It has connected me with so many people. It is so, so important. And each and every time, maybe it doesn't happen for others, but for me, the relationships that have been the most meaningful, that have had the most impact in my life, were those relationships where other people also said, I believe in you.
Yes.
They've bought into some of the crazy ideas I've said, I believe in you. You can do it.
Yeah.
And the relationships that have lasted and been so beneficial are the ones where I've said to other people, hey, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You are gifted. I see you and I value you. And those times that we've spent encouraging others, my goodness,
Yeah.
this book is for people of all ages.
Yes. And you're right. Like, it might not be ours. If we encourage somebody to do something, it might not be for us, but it's to tell them, like, look, at our paths met,
Yeah.
but you're going to be a producer. I don't want to be a producer, but you know what? I encourage you. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that we have to be that,
No.
right, to be able to connect. I'm just going to tell you, like, about connecting with people. This story, when I was 7, we lived down in the Okanagan of British Columbia, and this family showed up at my door. My mom and dad both worked all the time. So I had a couple of brothers at home. I have 4 brothers. I'm the only girl, and I was at home with them. And there was a knock at the door. This family came and said, "We used to live here in this house. Would you mind?" It was a grandpa and grandma, a mom and dad, and 3 little kids. And they said, "Would you mind if we came in just to take pictures and look around and stuff?" And of course, I'm like, "Yeah, come on." I welcome anybody. They come in, they took pictures, and then when we all went outside, they said, "Can we take a picture of you with with our 3?" Sure. Okay. So, and back then I didn't mind, because I was only 7, right? All of these beliefs started coming in afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we took they got that picture. So at 15 years old, we moved to Williams Lake. Some of you probably already know where this story is going. And I was very shy. You'd never know it now, but I was very shy at the time. We moved up here. I went to school. The very first day, this girl come up to me and she goes, "You're new here." And I went, "Yeah." And she goes, "My name's Karen." She says, "Do you want to come over to my house and meet my parents?" And I'm like, "Sure." I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
So I went there. We got talking with her parents, and her dad says, "Where are you from?" And I went, "Enderby." And he went, "Oh, you know what?" He goes, "My mom and dad used to live in Enderby." And he goes, "I used to live there when I was a little boy." And I said, "Where?" And he goes, "On this certain street."
Yeah.
I went, "That's where I used to live." And he goes, "Did you ever have some people come to your door and ask to take pictures?" And I went, "That is a story I'll never forget." Because I remember my mom and dad coming home. I was so excited to tell them this story.
Yeah.
You'd never guess what happened. These people came. Mom, dad, I let them in. They took pictures. I think I even got a spanking over that one. Do not let strangers in this house. And you know what? He went into the bedroom. He brought out a box of pictures.
And that
picture of me was in with his kids. And that picture, it just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
And that picture sat there. And they became like second parents to me. And I went through a really hard time when I was about 14, 15. Like, I was at the bottom, and I thought, I don't want to live anymore, because I didn't feel that love. And there was so much, you're going through that 15, 16-year-old time. And
it's deadly.
And we grew up in a house where we didn't have our parents say, "I love you." They were working. They were hard workers, and I loved them to death for it. But there's certain things that kids need. They need, "I believe in you," and they need, "I love you."
Yeah.
And we didn't hear that. So I started really getting down. And then all those belief stories started going in my head. And I thought, what am I here for? I don't need to be on this earth anymore. I went to Karen's place, and I was crying, telling her mom, I said, "I don't want to be on this earth anymore." I said, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm so lonely. I'm tired. And, she phoned my mom and said, "I'm going to take Sandy for a couple of days." And if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I'd be sitting here today. And that goes all the way back to a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
So like you said, we don't know whose paths we're going to cross for a reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a powerful story.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Sandy, let's talk about your podcast.
Yeah.
Because, now people, I guess, have a general idea how the journey to this podcast has, this is the individual, this is the person This is the story you're bringing to this production. Okay. The Happy Podcast.
Happy talk.
Happy Talk.
Happy talk.
You always trust me to mess it up. Happy Talk.
We try to think of a name
Yeah.
that is a positive energy,
Yes.
right? We want it when we feel that shift in our body, is it good or bad?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just wanted people to sit there and go, I'm inspired by this. I'm motivated by this.
Yeah.
Because inspired is aha moments. Yes, I love it. Motivation is I'm getting off the chair and I'm moving.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go towards that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Look, there's something else that you do, Sandy, that you are a part of, this group that you guys meet. Now, tell us a bit about that.
Yes. It's called Manifesting with Friends.
Oh,
And, it is just like family. And it's a group that we all get together and we read.
yeah.
They did an interview with me last week over my book because there's a lot of older, mostly older people on it.
Yeah.
And it's really inspiring because people cry, people share. But everything is positive. Everybody's lifting everybody up. Right. And that's what it's all about, is friendship.
Yeah.
And the stories we read are so inspirational and very spiritual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very, everything is spiritual. Everything is creating your best I am.
I like that. And for our viewers, if someone wants to connect with that, how do they connect?
They can go to Collier. So it's Collier.
Yeah.
Collections. That's their last names.
Yeah.
Or you can just look up Google Manifesting with Friends, and they have the Tommy, one of the guys that are involved in this. He was actually the person who did all the camera for the program that I took that changed my life.
Yeah.
And people look at me now and go, wow, you're not the same person you were like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. You're different. And a lot of the last few years, because I've been with, taking these, joining this group with Manifesting with Friends.
Yeah.
It's when you get off there, you're so excited.
Yeah.
'Cause-
We did a show on manifestation. I don't remember, Mr. Director, when it was. You probably can look it up in our video bank. And we, the point we brought forward was manifestation. It's not this kind of mysterious woo-woo kind of thing, And we were saying, look, even to a people of a Christian background, call it faith, if you may. You are, like we were saying, you are playing an active part in creation. Because if you do not do that, you can't choose to be neutral in this. It's either you are creating and you're doing the positive, or you are bringing in the negative. Like there's no neutrality in this,
Right.
So so in that case, why not just choose the positive, Say, I'm starting my day, this is a good day to have a good day.
Yeah.
Even when something bad happens, wow, this has happened. I acknowledge it. You know what? Something good will come out of this.
Yeah. What's the lesson?
What's the lesson? Yeah.
What's the lesson that I say God is trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And to me, I agree, manifestation is just where thoughts go, where energy flows, right? So, or is it the opposite? Energy flows where thoughts go.
Yeah.
But whatever we put our energy to, our thoughts to,
Yeah.
then I know, people call it, some people say it's luck, because when we say, well, we really, really want this,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it happens,
Yeah.
people go, oh, you're just lucky.
Yeah.
I have won so many trips. And everybody goes, oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
And I used to go, yeah, I guess you'd say that. But then things started happening it's because I believe it.
Yeah.
It's because I believe in myself.
Yeah.
It's your belief. That's the big difference.
Yeah, you believe it, and then you start creating your own reality.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, I'm no way close to a scientist, but I love learning. The brain, the professionals tell us that our brains cannot really differentiate between that which is reality, like, this is really happening here, and the stuff we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
It treats everything as if this is the way it is.
Yeah.
So when I tell myself that this is like mind hacking or something, when I tell myself, when I look in the mirror and I say, you are a good looking individual, and you are worth something.
Yeah.
As I go through my day, if someone says to me, oh, you worthless piece of,
Yeah.
the reality in my mind that I have rehearsed again and again and again will quickly jump in to say, oh, that's a lie, because I am worth something.
Exactly.
And so when you're manifesting, you are saying these things that might not even be present at that time. Like how we say in the Christian worldview that faith is the evidence of things not seen. You're manifesting that and you're saying, yeah, this is my reality.
Yeah.
When someone offends me, I respond in love because this is the person I am.
Exactly.
And as you would have it in life, someone will offend you.
Yes.
And then at that moment, I choose my reality to respond in love.
Exactly.
It has been a great honor, Sandy, to have you here. I encourage our viewers to really just get the book. Get the book. We'll put a link on it here. Connect with Sandy, and do not neglect your spiritual journey, your story. Your story is really worth something. It can be, as Sandy said, that lifeline that someone needs. And so do not put away your spiritual experience. Just put it out there. And thank you for joining us. And once more, please smash that like button and subscribe. Until next time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sandy.